hey, you're a basic bitch, and that's okay.
That's how I roll.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Drop. This is a fishing podcast. If you're new here, welcome. It's great to have you on board. This is it's an open community, and everyone's bloody welcome. I'm Luke McCredden. With me, as always, is Adam Ring. And Adam, typically for those that are new, it might take a few episodes, and they're still sitting there scratching their head, going, "What the fuck is this all about?" But they're coming back, which is a good sign. So I ask you, my friend, to maybe shed some light. Give us some clarity on and a bit of an insight on what the Deep Drop is all about.
The Deep Drop is just a massive conversation piece. Now, for those that are new, I normally roll into a witty, stupid life parallel that is the Deep Drop.
Yeah.
I've run out of them.
Right.
Listen, I haven't run out. I'm frazzled. Like I've got to come clean.
Right.
This might actually sum up what the Deep Drop is. This is our second go at recording this podcast. The other thing that's also happened, we had to park another episode that we were halfway through because of fucking technology. Now, I'll go ahead and say the Deep Drop is the Deep Drop. So I've forgotten how to speak.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
The Deep Drop is kind of like technology when it's working well.
Yeah.
Because we've got the issue sorted, I think, touch wood, and I'm so happy right now.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I'm talking into a microphone with you. Everything's working, cameras are working, microphone's working, everything's recording in the background, everything's going great, and I couldn't be happier. It's the same feeling I get when a new Deep Drop ep drops every start of the week, depending on when we get to record.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's that feeling when everything is working fucking perfectly.
Yeah, nice.
When you've had nothing but endless issues with said thing leading up to it.
And then it works.
And so that feeling is like a Deep Drop episode when it
Releasing.
drops on Spotify every week.
Yeah. And
we'll go with that.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. Yeah. It's almost a relief. It's this feels right.
This is familiar. I'm happy.
I can start
I'm
my
excited
week now.
again.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, that's not bad. Not bad at all. There's a lot of crazy stuff, and just weird and wonderful, and hopefully insightful, hopefully inspirational, hopefully fun and enjoyable stuff that we do on the Deep Drop. The podcast is obviously one of those things. Adam, of course, you can follow us and get in touch and see what we're up to across the socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify is the place where we can interact directly on the episode pages ads, which is great because we get a lot of, sort of comments. People are just speaking openly because they've just listened and heard something. And, there was some feedback on the top 6 female rock singers. A lot of feedback on TikTok and Instagram on that one. Supportive and not supportive, but that's okay. That's what the top 6 segment's all about. That's life. It's so there's all sorts of fun. Absolutely, we are. There's all sorts of fun stuff like that. Of course, check out some of the reaction vids and send through some if you would like. There are a million there. Hand up. Been a bit slow on it this week or the last couple of weeks. Ads. It's just been one of those, as you mentioned before.
It's been a fuck around.
It's been a week or two. So, but there is some. Did you see? I don't know if you saw the latest one with the marlin bill going straight through the side of a boat.
Yes, I did.
Jesus Christ, that's rough.
I'd be pretty pissed with that, to be honest.
It's epic, but if you own the boat, you'd be fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The only thing that made it kind of a little bit better is the whole thing was caught beautifully on film. If that happened without proof,
that would
you're
suck.
just like, oh, no, this is not good. I'm never marlin fishing again.
Or you'd go, that wasn't a marlin, mate. You hit a mooring real hard.
Correct. Do you know, there was a piece of the... Now, but I might... you might have to edit this out.
Okay.
Is there a small piece of you when you did the reaction to that vid and you'd finished it, you're like, I hope that marlin swam away and its bill was fucked?
If it was my boat, I reckon I'd feel that way. I'm not sure whether they landed it or was that the release? Was that the marlin getting its freedom, just going up, sort of an up yours on the way out the door type thing?
Because no one was interested in catching it. Was it? It was hooked, wasn't it? It didn't.
Yeah,
just
it was hooked. No, it wasn't a free jump.
Launch itself into.
That would be even worse, wouldn't it?
That'd be nuts.
Jeez.
Imagine that you got a spread out and it dodges every single one and just pierces the side of your boat with its bill.
Marlin could really fuck shit up. We've spoken about squid ads, if they switched on and went, we're going to take over the world. If marlin teamed up, a school of marlin, a pod of marlin, whatever they're referred to as, let's say 8 to 10, and went, see this boat above us, let's double down, let's get a bit of depth to us, let's get some speed, and just go full noise straight up. Like 8 or 9 bills just going straight to the bottom of a fiberglass hull. That would sink you.
Are they the cows of the ocean?
That's what I'm saying. If they knew. Mate, there's granders swimming around. You only need 3 or 4 of them to decide they're going to take down a boat and she's all over.
Oh, a grander doesn't even need its bill. It could just... You know how they're so big they can't fully launch? They just get half out and fall over?
Yeah, they just sort of do that shake like, oh, I can't be fucked.
Yeah, I'm too heavy for this shit.
Yeah.
They just do that into the side of your boat.
Yeah. Like they could. If they start communicating like that, if they start having these conversations underwater going, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, I've seen too many of these lures.
I've
Nothing good is happening here.
Too many of me mates eat one of these lures and end up on a fucking gantry.
Yeah, like
I'm not having it anymore.
No, it's time.
That ends today.
That's right.
I'm thinking one of those like Braveheart speeches. You know, the Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Yeah, they may take our lives, but they won't take our freedom.
And they all swim, and they just swim off in their kilts with their packing hanging.
With their marlin kilts and they're just their junk out.
Yeah.
And it might be
what a way to get amongst it.
It might be the uniting of blue, black, and striped marlin coming together, and then some swords just swim up, going, "I'm fucking I'm in on this." Yeah,
yeah.
And then a couple of sailfish rock up, and they go, "Fuck off!" Like what are you going to do?
That's right. Not welcome. Yeah. But the swords rock up, and they're like, "No, we'll finish the job. If you guys take down the boat, we'll wait for the people to hit because longer bill, thinner. Listen, I need it."
You do
probably not going to withstand the hull of a solid fiberglass boat, but we can be hitting kebabs afterwards. I can skew a 3-4 of a piece of meat.
Yeah. The short, but because there's what are the
those short-billed spearfish?
Spearfish, they'd be in on it, but they're shorter, so they'd be kind of coming through. Maybe just
bit shorter, stubbier, less prone to break. You maybe send them in first.
Maybe send them in first.
Soften up the hull.
They just weaken up the hull, and then the blues,
couple of
blacks
micro
and
fractures.
Mate,
imagine hearing that. Imagine being in the boat going, "The fuck?
What the fuck was that? Why are we sinking? Why are the marlins circling us?"
Yeah, that's intimidating.
Fuck, that makes me nervous. Anyway,
that's what the deep drop is.
That's what the deep drop is. Yeah. Hey, ads, I just a bit of a PSA tonight, just for anyone in and around Melbourne in Victoria on the 29th and 30th of May. Now, a lot of you may have heard that our good friends at Bar Crusher feature on throughout the show. Bar Crusher are having a Melbourne boat show at Bar Crusher HQ ads. Now, the 29th and 30th of May, gates open at 9 a.m. For more info, obviously, go to barcrusher.com.au. But 5 Quality Drive Dandenong South if you want to go down there. Beautiful boats. Worth going down there just for a bloody browse. But I did get some info slid across my desk this afternoon just to let people know that if you are thinking about going down and if you're thinking about if you're in the market, if you're sort of tossing up, I've got my eyes on that, whether it's a hard top, center console, whichever model, there is up to 14 grand of free extras and upgrades if you purchase during the event over those couple of days. So if you're thinking about doing it, it's probably the time to do it. Now, that varies, so depending on the size and make, that amount varies, but up to 14 grand of extras and upgrades just chucked in.
Why wouldn't you go and have a look?
Well, if you're thinking about it, so it's a nice incentive. Here's a tip: our mate Scotty Harps down at Bar Crusher. Do yourself a favour, get down there, find Scotty or Matt, and go, boys, talk me through it. What are we doing here? And Scotty,
Where do I start?
he'll sort you out.
Yeah.
And if you want something detailed and explained, Scotty's the man. He'll give it to you.
100%.
He'll give it to you.
100%.
So that is the Bar Crusher Melbourne Boat Show, 29th and 30th of May, Dandenong South at Bar Crusher HQ. If you're in Melbourne, check it out. Go down, have a look. It's well worth a look. And if you're just a dreamer like we are, Ads, just go and check out the boats.
Get amongst it. Yeah. Beautiful boats. Yeah, beautiful boats. Even better people. Great facility there at Barra HQ
bad,
as well. Yeah. So plenty of room. You might have convinced me to go.
Yeah, I think we'll
I
float
can't
down
afford
there.
shit, but I'll go and have a look.
Now, it struck me earlier, Adam, that it is as we're recording this, the first week of May.
Correct.
And that only means one thing.
New Year's resolutions.
New Year's resolutions.
New Year's resolutions.
Nah, bugger that.
It's monthly reso time, baby.
I could just play that on repeat. And if that was a full track, which we maybe should look at getting done, that should be in the Deep Drop Fishing Tunes playlist.
Is there anything better than a kick snare ride bell combo?
Or hard palm muted chords followed by harmonics.
Yeah, that's right. A little bit of dissonance.
Oh,
yes.
it's a solid track, but it does mean that it is time for monthly resolutions, which I feel like it's crept up. Now, I don't think you'll have anything against me for saying we haven't touched last month's resolutions at all. So we're none from 6.
Tried. Yeah, that's okay.
We are currently. So we mentioned a couple of months ago that we're doing a bit of a point system this year, because we don't want to just be failing all the time.
We need to feel a little bit better about ourselves.
So within the monthly resos, there's kind of, I suppose, points to be earned. So we're currently on 6 points out of a possible 17. So it's not great.
Not bad.
It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It feels better than anything we achieved last year or didn't achieve last year. So we're getting somewhere. You dominated the Squid Jig Spectrum Challenge, which was obviously catching squid on all jigs from 1.8 up to a 4. So we've still got 2 to go in there, which is the 1.8 and the 4. Soft Prawn Challenge, which was catching 5 local sort of southern species on off soft prawns. We've ticked off 2 of those, still a few to go. And
we're going okay on that one, though.
Yeah, I feel good about that. I feel like we've got probably the best opportunity for 1 or 2 of those later in the year, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The Jetty Rat Challenge was set last month. We sort of got back to our roots and talked through how cool is it just soaking some baits or chucking some plackies or whatever it is around jetties and piers and pontoons and stuff. So we set 6 species for ourselves to go and do, just go an old school jetty rat style. And we haven't ticked any off yet, but also probably haven't had a crack. Just
0 cracks at the jetty rat thing. Yes.
So that being said, I think we keep the same system happening. Ads. I think the point system's good. It gives us opportunity to get a couple of wins on the board, even if it's not the full, wipe off of a challenge. I'm open to suggestions. We've sort of spitballed.
Spat. There was spit involved.
Some ideas around. There's a bit going on over the next couple of months. There's a bit of travel coming up, and I think you've put a challenge to me for a few things that I'm doing, which I feel a bit pressured by. But I want you to elaborate because I need you to talk me through it.
Well, Monthly Resos is about celebrating all forms of fishing, including some lofty goals that we get excited about when we do trips.
Yeah.
We all cast your mind back.
Yeah. There's one that stands out.
We opened the whole program with me to Barra. I got excited. It didn't happen.
No. But on that theme, though, we went, I know that was lofty, but you could also argue that going to the US and catching a largemouth bass is pretty lofty.
Oh, and tick.
And we ticked that bad boy.
That's right. So this is about celebrating all forms. It obviously gives people and our listeners from other parts of the country
Yep.
A chance to get involved in their local waters too.
Yes.
Now, Luke, you have a couple of trips already penned in this year going back to the Tiwi Islands.
Yeah.
And one of them's really soon. You go next week or something, don't
Yes, correct. Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yep.
So what I was thinking, I'm like, okay, what can I set Luke up there that's interesting, achievable, and represents the deep drop? We have spent a lot of time talking about soft prawns.
Yes.
That
this
we
is true.
feel as though that they're critically underutilized, especially where we're from now.
Yep.
Where you're going, probably not as underutilized. I
Well-
might even say they're probably in the top 3 of stuff that you would take if you were doing said trip. So I thought, all right, how can we represent the deep drop? Here's what I come up with.
Okay.
And let me know if you're in.
All right.
And I really hope you are, because I don't have a plan B.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's called the soft prawn Barra bracket.
Oh wow, that's wordy.
It's wordy. It's
Talk me
it's
through
gotta
it.
be
Let's
long.
break it down. Talk me through. I don't mind it. It rolled off the tongue
Yeah.
nicely though.
Oh, it'll never be
Do it
said
again.
like that
Do it again. Do it again.
No, you need to clip it, and every time I attempt to say it, just drop that back.
Just be on the hotkeys. I'll just press the button.
That's
You
right.
tell me. Yeah.
So the soft prawn Barra bracket.
There you go.
Here
Nailed
we
it.
go. The concept is
Hmm.
there is a point for each bracket of Barra in 10 centimetre increments starting at, so what legal size is 55.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so 1 point for catching a Barra in the 50 to 60 centimetre bracket.
I see where you're going with this. Right.
Yes. So 1 point, so there's 1 point there.
Yep.
Another point for catching a Barra from between 60 and 70 centimetres.
Yep.
Another point for 70 to 80, 80 to 90, and then we hit the big banger at 1 metre. Now, if you get a Barra at 1 metre or bigger on a soft prawn,
Yep.
don't worry about completing the rest of the challenge. It's ticked off. You gain all
Wow.
points.
It clocks
Every
it.
point.
That
Yep.
clocks it.
Yep.
Okay,
Because
because we've spoken about a few things that would clock the list. So, the challenge. So if we...
Yep.
I like it. Okay. So,
So where my head's at with this, because I thought, what could be, tie everything in interesting, but also something you had to think about. You couldn't just tie on a prawn, catch one fish, and go, well,
tick.
fuck, it's
Yeah.
done.
Fair enough. Yep.
I thought by having a small Barra at 50, you've got to be kind of strategic at the size of lure. Now, we all know things can happen. You might just... Every fish might be honed into 4-inch prawns and you can use that and catch everything. That's fine. I'm prepared for it to happen. It's awesome because it can happen. But what if they're being picky?
Good.
There's strategy
Yeah.
involved here.
Well, there is strategy, and it's funny, isn't it? Because mentally you go, all right, start with some smaller fish and move up. That also is just as challenging as starting anywhere. So we might pull up at our first creek and row of mangroves, and they're all 70 to 80. So then you start going, all right, and then you get one that's 82, and you go, shit, I've just ticked off 70 to 80 and 80 to 90. But I'm actually struggling to get those smaller fish. So then you start thinking about size of prawn,
Yep.
where you're putting that prawn, and
And I really want to capture the moment where you look at the guide and go, I'm done with these 80s. Can we find some 50s? Because
It's probably
I'm
more.
sure that any guide ever has never been told that.
That's
Or
and it's
asked
also the probably the crew I'm with. So the heads will turn and go, sorry, what did you just say?
They'd be more interested in trying to get the meter in the first session so that you can just
Move
just
on.
for the.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
But-
Luke
but
can
just
shut
for
up and yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sick of hearing about Barra and soft prawns. Can we just get him a meter fish so we can clock this bad boy
So
and move on?
if hypothetically that we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 5 points to be had, and if a meter plus is caught, it's 5.
It's 5 points
Bang,
straight
and-
up.
and put
You don't
a
have
line
to worry
through
about
everything.
doing the rest
Yep.
of it. Yep.
I love that. Okay, soft prawns it is. Yeah, because
So you've been quite a few times. You went a fair bit last year,
Yeah.
and now this year's trips start kicking off. How confident are you looking at the numbers now that they're written down in front of you? How confident are you at ticking off? Forget the meter one for a second.
yeah.
But just those brackets. So there's 2 trips penciled in so far for this year. Does it seem easy?
Not easy. It seems there will be. I reckon that I'm most confident in 60 to 70, 70 to 80, and then probably like the smaller ones. But even that, they're not that easy to catch, those smaller ones. You know what I mean? Not that any of them are, but the majority of fish we come across last year would have been the 60 to 80 bracket, with a few over 80 and a couple over 90. And shout out Pat Levy from JM Gillies, did drop 2 meteries. And it is not a meter fish. It is not a big fish fishery up there, typically speaking.
But they can be caught.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely there. But an 80 plus fish is a good fish anyway, but it's probably a solid fish. A 90 plus fish up there would be a very solid fish. I reckon 60 to 80 I'm really comfortable with, and I'll work my guts out for an 80 plus and obviously for a 90 plus. But and then if there happened to be a pocket where there were a few small fish getting plucked, I would just go, yep, let's wait here for a minute. Let me know. Yeah, exactly. Because you do come across those nurseries or whatever you want to call them, where there's just a snag piled up with little baby barra. So that's cool. But that's where I'll be like, oh, hang on, can we just wait for a sec? Let me just quickly chuck on a 2.5 inch.
Just give us 3 casts. You'll catch 2 48s and a 49.
I know. Okay. Oh, no, this is great because it's way more, to your point, it's way more, there's more thought in this than just immediately. When you started talking, I'm like, okay. But no, I'm already, the brain's buzzing now. And now this is not
what I wanted.
And so this is the Deep Drop Monthly Reso for May, but this is not exclusive to what I'm doing. So this I would love to hear anyone, and it probably plays more into the river fishery than the impoundments at the moment, where you can't catch a fish under $1.20 at the moment.
That's right.
I'd love to know. I'd love to get some thoughts on strategy. If you're going to do this, if you're from anywhere from sort of central Queensland to Central Coast to right up the tip, and you're fishing any of those rivers and creeks, I'd love to know some strategy here.
Yeah, is it what would be the strategy? Like, what water are you looking for to potentially?
Do you know what?
Clear the bracket?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm thinking straight off the bat is I think you go into it really open-minded, BAU type thing. You don't try and think about this right now. It's just
do you just start with a prawn on and just see what you can knock off without thinking too much about it?
Exactly. Yep. And then feel it out from there.
Yeah,
because in an ideal world, you find a patch of fish that are low 70s with every chance of there being one that's a high 60s in amongst it, because they're kind of the same. Do you know what I mean? Or vice versa, it might be high 70s or low 80s, because there's your 2 straight off the bat. Fuck, there's so much more to this than...
and I'm also going to be interested to hear... There's always... and it's very likely to happen. You might be on the boat with a couple of dudes that are just... The higher caliber fish are coming on jerkbaits or vibes. And because automatically as a fisher you think, okay, well there's fish in the area, I'll just catch them on a prawn.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
Not always.
All of the time.
Not always.
It can. And this is where the tease of the reso gets you, because you only need one. So you only need one bite. Even if everyone around you is catching them and they're eating 110 jerks and everyone's casting away and catching fish after fish and they're getting those 80s, 90s. You're like, I just need one bite.
Yep. And then I'll chuck a hard on. It's fine.
Barra can lock into one thing.
I know. Yeah. So this will be really interesting. I'm looking forward to this. The crew that I'm going with, I'm going to fully brief them on
on what's happening,
because this is the sort of thing. Shout out Cord Lucas from Wilson, who I'm traveling up there with. He'll be interested in this because he's that analytical Barra brain as well, where he'll be thinking about all this sort of stuff. So I think is that okay if I pick the brain of a highly respectable
do it.
angler
because this
in that space?
because this is also this is also where I love this concept. 100%. You'd be mad if
Strategy.
you weren't picking the brain.
Yeah.
Because I like that knowledge. I like learning, hearing that, okay, we had to do this. We started off just chucking prawns around to see what happened, but we had to see what was going on and if this was happening. And
Because the thing is
so
too,
I
right?
love that.
There might be every chance where I'm going, all right, I need a, or the, like you say, the jerk baits are getting the 80s and 90s, for example, just hypothetically. And I'm going, fuck, I'll chuck a 5 or 6 inch prawn, a big sucker on, get it in. Chuck a 3 inch on. While they're getting them on the jerks, you just put a smaller prawn on, which is a no-brainer for them just to slurp up and eat easy.
Yep.
So there's going to be a lot of, there'll be a lot of, I might have to use lure clips because it's going to be a lot of
a lot of changing. Because this is where they do differ from Murray cod quite a bit. Because we do compare the two.
Do.
I guess they're our sort of, big species. You can catch them wild, impoundment. You don't hear of many meter cod caught on 4-inch lures.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's not common to go, maybe I need to downsize to get a big fish. But with Barra, that can be the key.
Well, at
times, depending on what they're feeding and honed in on.
Well, this is what opened my eyes up literally the same time last year with the same crew, with Graham Wilson, shout out Willie, what a guy, who I saw caught a 80, or was it 9? It might have been a 90 on an 80 mil jerkbait, like one of the duo hard bodies. And I went, wow, here I am thinking it's got to be 100, 110, 120 mil. But no, that changed everything for me. And realising that, not that they're tiny, but they're, in the grand scheme of things, like when you think about some of the mullet and bony brim those bigger Barra would be eating, they're not a big lure.
Yeah, that's right.
It's it's good. It's good. Okay, so all right, so monthly reso, the soft prawn Barra bracket. Have I said that right?
Correct.
Soft prawn.
Nailed it. No, nailed it.
Barra, okay, I won't say it again. 5 points up for grabs. A meter he clocks it. That's the dream. But let's be real, honing in on the 5 challenges ahead in front of me, and if you get that, it's like a fuck. How good am I going?
Yeah.
I love that. Well done.
So it's interesting.
And again, massive, open this up to the community. You and I aren't barrafishers, ads. Let's be real.
No.
But we are lucky enough that we've been in this industry a long time. We get to go to some amazing places. This is one of those places, and amazing fisheries, fishing for a species we don't get to do down here, obviously, unless they put warm water in a power station. What? Yeah, I'm not going to go into that anymore.
Oh, no, let's just turn it back on, please.
And so I'm strategize with us. Let us know your thoughts. Is there something obvious that we're just not thinking about yet? Whatever it is, I'm all ears. This is going to be a great one. Limited time to do it, really. Let's be real. There's probably only a couple of days that I've got of a window here, and then potentially next month too. But good one, ads. I like it.
So in the meantime, shout out and call out to all the deep drop listeners up north in Barraland. Send us through. Send us through your pics with the size and the prawn in its mouth so that we can start to pile up a little bit of inspiration for Luke as he plans the latest trip, because this isn't the only trip that you'll be doing this year on them. Let's just see. With the community there up north, get involved, keep us motivated. We don't have Barra down here, so we're relying on trips. This was a fun little one to give Luke a little bit of a challenge on a couple of trips he's got coming. But send us through. Let's see, even as a collective, Luke, if we can tick off all of the brackets, including the meter.
Okay.
Let's see if we can tick them all off as a community by the time we get to our last episode in December this year.
Love it. Looking for your next fishing weapon? Bar Crusher is Australia's #1 fishing boat builder, leading the industry in design, excellence and quality. For the most advanced plate aluminium fishing boats, or to build your dream boat online, visit barcrusher.com.au. Pelagic high-performance offshore gear is built for fishing, offering the best in technical apparel, premium polarised optics, and ocean-inspired accessories. Using the latest fabrics and feedback from top anglers around the world, Pelagic products deliver comfort, style and sun protection for those long days on the water. Visit au.pelagicgear.com to see the full range. Ads, I've got something for you tonight because I've been wanting to raise this. We touched on it recently in recent episodes. I've wanted to raise it with you for a while for a few reasons. One is you are really well versed in what we're about to talk about from a product side of things to a trend side of things to the brands that are in question. Well, not brands are in question, but the fishery that's in question. But also, we have done a lot of it together over the years. I'm talking about jigging, metal jigs jigging, vertical jigging, slow pitch jigging, whatever, micro jigging, all of the jigging.
All the jigging.
I'm raising it tonight, Ads, because I feel like there is I'm saying a decline in popularity or a decline in uptake of jigging when it comes to metal jigs across Australia. Now, straight off the bat, I'm not including into this the impact that the demersal ban in WA is having on it, because that is having an impact. I just mean, generally speaking, I feel like 15, 20 years ago, it was on the tip of our tongues whenever we're talking about fishing offshore for anything. Kingfish were a classic example from the south coast of New South Wales, as far up as you want. Samson fish in the west, and south Australia and stuff as well. And of course, all the reefies up in sort of that Queensland, far north Queensland type region. I think is, in saying that, it's probably the only region that's still really strong in that metal jig market. What I wanted to throw, and I want to open this up to you for your thoughts on this, because I reckon you'd have a few. I want to know about whether or not, because I've got a couple of things that I think may be impacting it. But initial thoughts from you: metal jigs and jigging, has it disappeared as much as I think it has, or is it just from where I'm sitting, I'm not seeing as much of it anymore?
I think, great question, by the way, because we have seen the explosion of high-speed jigging with Kings and Samsons through to the, slower-paced, closer to the bottom, working water columns we've experienced it down south where we thought it was going to be the next greatest thing of all time. Didn't really happen.
Yep.
But that could be a waterway thing. But anyway, I actually think there's three answers.
Wow.
And it's a very... I'll throw my three answers out there in the most basic form, and then we can break them down, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, because you've done a hell of a lot more jigging than I have. I haven't done a lot. I've mucked around with a few things. I've tried the micro jig slow pitch thing, done the Lacanis thing, the high-speed jigging thing, done tiny bits and pieces. So this is not coming from experience. This is coming from being on the other side in the tackle trade, seeing what's popular and what people want to do. Here's my very quick three answers. High-speed jigging, dead and buried. No one's doing it. Slow-pitch jigging, people want it to be one of the greatest forms of catching fish ever. They really want it to be. It's just not. And I think the most effective way of jigging is the one that no one wants to do. Because I still think, from a vertical metal point of view, just grabbing a 30 to 40 gram, your everyday $10 to $12 marksman style, old metal. Spaniard style metal.
Yep.
If you live anywhere up north where you've got reef and pelagics mixed in, I'm telling you, if you drop a 40 gram metal that's just chromed out to the bottom, it can be one of the most effective ways of catching a fish that you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, yeah.
But no one wants to do that because it's not associated with all the cool lures and the cool gear and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
So that's my very three basic bitch answers, and we can break them down, but I want to hear your thoughts as well.
Hey, you're a basic bitch, and that's okay.
That's how I roll.
No, because I think it's not bad. So the mechanical jigging, the high speed vertical mechanical jigging style that you sort of touched on, I tend to agree. There's definitely pockets where it's still popular enough, and like 300-gram jig, like heavy metal jig sort of thing. But it just seems to have dropped off the face of the earth, and I think I've got a couple of reasons potentially why. But before I get into that, the rise of the slow pitch jig, that leaf flutter, whatever you want to call it. That I won't say micro jigging. For me, it's more
different.
of that.
It's in the same family, but it's different.
Same family, but it's more because when not trying to sound too old, but I remember when I was much younger, jigging sort of whether it was Mowari Point at Eden or Montague Island at Narooma, off Narooma, it was kind of more your straight up and down vertical.
High speed,
not much action. Go nuts. Not much action to them. It's just get them down, then crank them up and jig like fuck.
Yep.
And that was the kind of, and it was a really effective way to catch kingies back then. We never fucked around with the different shape jigs that are what you sort of associate as slow pitch or leaf jigs now, but they seem to be way more popular, and certainly fishing last year a couple of times up around that Whitsundays region, and that it is such an effective way to catch reds and those big those big reefies and stuff like that. So that region, I think there is a absolute really stronghold of that style of jig. You mentioned we want it to be the most popular thing. I couldn't agree more, and I'm guilty of that because jigs are cool. I love them. I think there's so many cool styles. There's so many different color patterns and chrome finishes and colors and matte and glow and fucking everything you can do. This is where I'm a sucker for just. I want things to be popular because it's cool. There's something about jigging that's cool to me. I love it. I love everything about it. It's a
gearhead's dream. That's why.
It is. So maybe it's that. So there was definitely a shift into that, which became more popular than that vertical up and down, high speed jigging. Here's where I reckon it's been impacted. I've got two things for you, and you let me know what you think about this. Same as what you just did before. I'm going to throw these two things at you. I want you to unpack them. The introduction of being able to put bigger profile, more lifelike or realistic soft plastics into the regions where you could traditionally really only get metal jigs or heavy lures down, I think has changed a lot of things because all of a sudden now you're putting more, lifelike baits down into those areas. But the other one, and it's a complete flip, is the rise in the popularity of surface lures. I feel like that's taken the coolness way away from jigging. And look, I don't know, maybe, this is where I want to open up to the community. Is jigging cool, or am I just off on the wrong track? But I think there's something real cool about it. To your point, I think it's a bit of a gear. Maybe I'm a bit nerdy like that, but when it comes to coolness, in market, there's nothing cooler than top water, right? So the spotlight's been put on that, and so this is what my angle. The spotlight's been put on the coolness of surface lures and top water action, and the effectiveness has come through in all the modern new soft baits that are available, whether it be, bigger profile stuff, more realistic profile stuff, getting it down into those, 50, 60 meter regions where you used to only just chuck a jig down. I think there's just been a shift in product, if that makes sense. What do you reckon?
I think you're starting to get on the right track, I think, with your first point. Top water being cooler, I'm not sure how much it plays into the vertical jigging thing because you're at completely different levels. As in, if you've got GTs on top, you're not going to drop jigs on them. So, but coolness factor, you're right. There was a little bit there where everything to do with jigging held the same esteem and coolness factor as top water fishing. It did.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah, but that's gone.
That's gone. And the reason I think it's gone is though jigging is effective, not for a second am I saying it's not effective. There is a time and a place for everything. But everything's working against jigging. you're relying on, for the most part, depth of water. Typically speaking, the deeper something is, the harder it is to manipulate it to do what you want it to do.
Yep.
So for ultra deep, you can argue soft plastics with a big jig head. And when I say ultra deep, I'm talking, say 60 meters plus,
Yep.
50 meters plus. We're not talking 300, 400, 500 meters. That's a different thing.
That's electric reels.
That's right.
But yeah.
So you can't.
Yeah.
It's so in say that depth of water where you don't have as much control, just because there is so much more line out, and you've actually got to try and maintain some sort of a soft plastic's always working. The tail is always working. If you choose the right soft plastic and you can get it to depth, you can essentially at its absolute slowest sit in a rod holder, and you can catch fish on it. The other things that are working against jigging, it's physically taxing. If you're high speed jigging, it has a lifetime. You can't sit there and effectively high speed jig all day. And listen, there'll be some anglers out there that go, want to bet? Hold my beer, watch this.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Sweet.
Like that's perfectly cool.
Yeah.
So now you're talking, it's maybe not as effective on any given day. It's not it's not the most effective way on any given day. It's physically taxing. So there's already 2 strikes.
Yeah.
I think the unspoken thing with jigging, particularly moving into slow jigging and pitch jigging, it is so much more technical than what anybody gives it any credit for. It seems like what you do is drop a jig to the bottom, just wave the rod around, just wave it up and down a few times, and then click back into free spool and hope something eats it. If you want to pitch jig and flutter jig effectively and efficiently, you've got to understand what the jig wants to do.
Yep.
You've got slack line management, when to actually work the rod in conjunction to where the jig's sitting and whether it's falling or rising. So timing's huge.
Yeah.
Depending on how your jig's weighted, it's going to want to do different things. And do you actually know how to manipulate the jig to its full potential? There's all of these things, because as soon as I think metal lure, I'm like, that's the most basic form of fishing. That's casting a metal lure as far as you physically can and just wind like fuck.
Yeah.
Get it back to you and catch fish. So this is where I think it is. It would be easy to drop a small jig 3 times to the bottom, wave the rod around and go, this is not working, I'll just drop a soft plastic. Because it's not, you can't physically see what you're doing to the jig. It's all feel and it's all experience and it's insanely technical. So I think that's probably another big strike.
100%. Yeah.
Whereas a soft plastic, mate, as long as it's rigged straight, it's kind of working.
And not even.
Yeah. Fair.
To a degree. No. Yeah. No, and you know what? I'm glad I raised it with you because I knew you'd give an insightful view on that, which I think you have. I think we're probably on a similar page, although I'm pro jig and I would love it to be bigger than it is. And not just because of because the lures are cool, whatever. I still think...
No, that's literally the only reason I want it to be bigger than what it is. It's got the coolest gear in the fishing game. The rods, the slow pitch rods that they've... And this is the thing. When the best rods they finally produced for that style of fishing came out is when it was sort of dipping in popularity. Yeah.
Because like some of the rods we used to use, like I said, might have been 20 years ago. If you pick one up now and went, hey, go jigging with this, you go, fuck, are you kidding me? No chance. So what's available now, overhead or borderline bait cast reels that are fitted out with, deep spool capacity and ultra power. It's just, everything's just awesome for it. It's just not as mainstream as it once was.
I feel it's one of those styles of fishing where you won't appreciate it and get it fully until you've been on the boat or you've done an extended trip with someone who's keyed in. This would be one of those ones, I think, where you want to be on the boat with a manufacturer, a Japanese manufacturer, where they rely on this style. This is one of the greatest ways and most effective ways for them to catch fish in some parts of the world. So they've honed it down to a fine art. They know what the jigs have to do and how they need to be shaped and how they need to perform to get a bite. Because listen, there is more effective ways to catch fish. I'm sure of it. It's one of those things.
Bait.
Soft plastics, it just is. I don't
let's
want
be
it to
real.
be, but it just is.
The
I
counter
would love
I will
to
say
see
that
and be on a
there are
boat with
times.
the Japanese showing you how to do it. What is it designed to do, and how do I get it to do that?
Because I reckon there is an argument for, at times, that it is up there with the best option. And I've seen it like that in certain times up, like I said, up on the reef, up north and stuff like that, where you're in 50, 60 metres of water. You can use a small profile but heavy jig, get to where you need to be, because there's a lot of current that fucks you around up there and stuff. And if and we know that those big fish, those big nannies and the big reds and that, they crunch those fucking things. So I would argue that there are times where they're probably the best option in a lot of cases, and obviously depends on all sorts of things, conditions and whatever.
But that's all forms of lure fishing.
Exactly.
Fishing in general.
So I don't want to see it disappear, because I think, and it's not going to disappear. It's absolutely not going to disappear. And there's some new and cool jigs hitting markets still now to this day in Australia, which is awesome, and keep doing it because we love it. But what I think will happen, and maybe it needs to happen, is they'll be dialed in a bit more on what the actual specifics are, rather than just bring out a 120, 160, 18. You know what I mean? Like the stock standard sizes that we've always known. It might that might need to dial in a bit harder and go. It needs to start at 85 grams in a certain shape and profile and it might be this is for that far north Queensland region, or this is for South Coast New South Wales if you want to get amongst some snapper and kingfish.
And it is
whatever.
It is big there. The snapper fishing with jigs
100%.
is big. It's a thing. I don't know how necessarily mainstream it is, but there is a large fraternity of fishers that wait for the winter snapper season on that South Coast of New South Wales so that they can go jigging for snapper. So we're not saying it's dead, but
no. Tassie trumpeter on jigs, like there's all sorts of stuff that it's big for. So by 100% to your point, by all means, we're not saying this doesn't exist. But what the reason I bring it up is, again, probably I was just thinking about it during the week, and obviously we mentioned it in the last couple of weeks, but it's still a fishery that I love, and I don't do enough of it anymore, and that's probably case in point. But I'd love nothing more than do some trips where it's central around some great jigging places and areas and species. And as exactly right to your point, you're not doing that for a trip away or a full day even, because it just fucking cooks you. But to have that there as something, all right, we're going to do some live baiting, we're going to chuck around some plackies, we're going to hit some top water stuff here and there. But when we get out here, it's jigs on, let's go. That's the shit I love.
So would you say, let's break it down into its two main categories, I guess. High-speed jigging. Is it completely dead? Does it have a pulse? Is it on life support?
Well, the answer to that is look at market. There's not even that many of those high-speed jigs available.
That's right.
So it almost answers that for you.
It's weird though, because even in our home state of Vic, I feel as though it's so ingrained in us, especially for kingfish. It's so ingrained in us that it is something from the past that's performed really well. Every time we get to December, January, February, March, shops are going to buy vertical jigs.
Yeah.
And I don't reckon they're selling many.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say vertical jigging is probably dead?
Slowed right down. Oh,
in a coma. Life support.
It's got a pretty nasty cough.
Oh, I reckon it's pretty more. I think it's
Is
more
it worse?
fucks than a nasty cough.
Or maybe I'm just way too. Yeah,
It's on
I'm
a ventilator.
optimistic.
It's on a
let's be
ventilator.
real. It's struggling.
Yeah, it's in a coma.
struggling.
It's alive, but not really.
Yeah. Whereas your slow pitch style,
I think
and
that's
truly
alive, and it's functioning.
but give it more.
It's got a gimpy leg.
Give it some. Give it some more fluid and it could be big. It could grow.
So
It
you're
could
saying it just
flourish.
needs a Gatorade?
I'm saying it needs an orange
It's a bit
Gatorade.
dehydrated.
Orange Powerade.
Okay, so it's performing, but it's not at peak.
Well, because I don't think we've given it the right amount of orange Powerade, is my point.
Yeah, okay. So it's watered down Powerade.
There is opportunity for it to be bigger than it is now.
In
again,
all seriousness,
it could come down to have we actually worked it out yet?
Oh no, I think I'd put me nuts on it. We haven't worked it out. Some people are good at it.
Yeah.
At it. But as a general overarching part of this functioning world of recreational fishing, I don't think we've worked it out. But this is a question I've got for you. You're in a space where you see units moving. You're responsible for picking these units all around the country. Do you look at, as part of your job, do you look at small jigs and go, okay, I need to keep them up to date. I need to make sure that these regions have got them. Are they moving off shelves? Because in Vic, they're not. And it's understandable. We're not really tailor-made for it. So Vic, I'm crossing it off the map in this argument. I don't think we have a horse in the race, really. But when you're looking at analytics from up and down the coast, is it high on your list to look at on a day-to-day basis?
It is, because it is something that was bigger than it is now. So there is some legacy hangover that needs to be addressed. But what I find is you can gauge patterns of what people are actually wanting. And a lot of that might be price point driven. It might be
good call.
We want to get into jigging, but we don't want to spend $40 on a jig. And I'm just making this up, by the way, but this is the sort of stuff. So you'll find, and then the regions, like we know that Tassie's got a good jig fishery. We know that the whole Queensland region's really strong with jigging, and there are pockets of New South Wales that are really strong. It's just, I don't know whether it's just not universally as big as it once was.
Is it? Do you think maybe because it was a part of
and
landscape?
By the way, sorry to cut in, the WA fuckery as well. And
That's a kind of a separate issue. But do you think it was too easy for that part of the fishery to be infiltrated by cheap shittery?
Yeah, so easy.
And don't listen. It's easy for cheap shit like cast plastic bibbed lures, but everybody can see that they don't fucking swim well.
It's real simple.
You can't see your metal jig. You can't see it. It's working too deep. But it's
also lead.
Most of it, it's just a bit of fucking lead that's painted pretty.
All it needs to do is sink. And
that's right.
If you've got
and because you can't see it.
Yeah. If you can slap on a paint job that's appealing on the shelf, this is not a slanderous to anyone, but it is very easy to produce a metal jig out of China.
Anywhere.
It is, or anywhere.
It's cheap.
It is not easy to produce a hard body or a soft plastic or anything that structurally, if it's not sound, will be horrendous.
Yeah.
A jig, with all due respect, pretty hard to fuck them up.
Well, it's easy to polish a turd. Because it's, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I mean. And I don't know the answer because I don't know all of the ins and outs of being technical when it comes to fishing with them. So, like, if say you're using a center weighted slow jig, how much does that center weight need to be off to not get what you need out of the jig? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, but this and that's
sits in the hierarchy of that.
That's a really good point that we won't go into now, but it's maybe something we can talk to. We'll get someone on who knows more about the production or manufacturing of it. What actually is a good jig? What does a good jig look like? There isn't anything that you can do, as you say, to polish a turd or polish what we've already got, because it's as good as it gets. Because how much more can you do with essentially a glorified sinker?
Yeah, pretty much. But did it not get big enough that we had enough time to pay attention to that?
Yeah,
stuff?
maybe. And maybe, do you know what? Have we ever dabbled in hybrid jigs that are part lead, part ABS, part fucking like soft plastic.
Dude, you might have just blown my mind.
I know. I saw it.
I wasn't ready for that comment. I wasn't ready.
I'm ready. I was ready to jump into some top six and hit up.
I think most penis.
Brooksy, but that this is the only thing that we probably haven't done is fucked around with what we actually make them out of.
You could make a metal because, oh, dude, you've ruined me. You've ruined me.
What if the should we
done.
quickly just go into some ideas? Because if you're new and you're still with us, if you're new on the Deep Drop, Adam and I come up with product ideas on the fly regularly, and most of them are ridiculous and shit. Oh no, that's not fair. Not most of them. Some of them are complete shit. Some of them are ridiculous. Yeah. Some of them, I
can't believe it hasn't happened.
Exactly. So what would you do? Just let's wrap this up. But what would you, off the top of your head, if you could do anything to a jig? And let's think bigger. Let's not go micro. Let's think of something that's got a relatively decent profile, so you could actually fuck around with bits and pieces of it. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Well, no, everything comes to mind.
Yeah,
because realistically, for a full lead jig, we're relying on depth of water. Now, not all of the country has good fishing in stupid depths of water. Yes. So I'm going to relate things to Victoria. That's where I'm from. We have a shallow fishery. If you had a resin jig with the weight, with the lead only in the spots that manipulate the jig's action, now all of a sudden we potentially have a jig that's viable in 16, 14, 12 metres of water because nothing works in 13, 15 and 17.
No, we don't need it. We don't need anything that works in 13, 15.
So
have we seen a jig with rattles in it?
We have. Yes, we have.
Okay.
We have. But no, we have. But they weren't. I don't think they were flutter jigs. I think they were more speed jiggy.
Yeah, gotcha. But I was just thinking about your bigger profile but lighter weight. You can start fucking around with some of that. Ball bearing chambers and,
mate, could you imagine
transparent
the extra
bodies?
Could you imagine the extra action you could achieve on a jig if some of the jig weighed nothing?
Yep.
Because, you have a look at any traditional metal, it's all lead. All of it. So all you're doing is the only shape difference is so that you can pile more weight into certain bits. What if... Oh, dude.
What if the body isn't just painted lead? What if it's cloth finishes? What if there's feathers and what if there's skirts off the back?
Well, the skirt thing's been fucked around with on the hooks.
It has actually. On the hooks. Yeah, but what about on the body?
But why can't there be hybrid stuff?
Yeah.
Fins. Because what is it? What is a flutter jig? What's it supposed to represent?
I don't know, and I knew you were going to ask that at some point. Is it just
actually what I think it might
fish?
Be? I think, in a weird way, if you kind of tilt your head sideways, it kind of gives the vibe of a whole heap of bait has just been smashed.
Oh, yeah.
And all that's left is scales and shit everywhere.
Do you know?
Because we've seen it. You and I have seen it in the bay. We've pulled up on snapper grounds. There's just been an epic bait kill.
Death.
And there's just glitter. It's just scales and shit.
Do you know my theory on what a jig is, and where it and there would be actually an answer to this. So I am making this up, but I wouldn't be surprised if I wasn't far off the mark. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if the background of a jig, of the development of a metal jig, is based solely on a diver's teaser, and they went, fuck, all those kingies and those dolphin fish and all that are hitting these metal teasers we're throwing out there before we spear the fucking things. Why don't we just rig it?
Well, or no, maybe. Well, maybe they took it a step further because the teasers, they'll just mesmerise the fish. I don't know if they're actually hitting them, but they're looking. Whereas a jig gives it an action.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what's going to trigger the actual bite.
I don't know. Yeah.
But because if you think of a speed jig, could you imagine you get to look at the underwater world?
Yeah.
How many times do you reckon you'd see a bait fish randomly shit its pants and swim straight up in a zigzag pattern?
Do you know how
Wouldn't
many
that be
times
funny?
Over the years, I've thought, what soury or slimy or yakka or gar or anything was sitting on the bottom, looked up and went,
Fuck it.
I'm out of here. Shoom, and just went straight up in the air. Straight up. All the way to the surface. And the kingy goes, oh, where are you going?
Better chase it.
It's bizarre. But it's got to be, that's where those sorts of things have got to be pure reaction bites and a
Yes.
bit of the what the fuck is going on here. So we're getting sidetracked. I think what we've probably landed on, ads, is, correct me if I'm wrong here, high-speed vertical mechanical jigging is
Done.
pretty
For
close
the most
to
part.
slow fall, slow pitch jigs, flutter jigs, whatever you want to call them, are absolutely still a thing.
Still a
and
thing.
still going somewhat
room to
strong,
grow.
but with room to grow, with opportunity.
Yes.
And then
I'm
the
in on
third part that we've landed on is, let's get creative.
More tech in the lures. We've got all the tech in the rods and reels and line and that shit.
Yep.
We need tech, resin, like
Cloth,
thick cloth,
rattles
fins.
and shit.
Yep. Fuck.
Bubble,
You've blown my
bubbles,
mind with that.
like bubble streams.
But
wait,
if there was a
can
jig
it
that
do
blew
that?
bubbles,
Yeah, blue bubbles. Like,
like holes in it and shit, dude, you need to hit the top 6 thing because I'm gonna lose my mind.
okay, let's do it.
The deep drop.
Top 6. That's a big statement right there. Fuck, I'm still writing notes. I was hoping the
So
sting
am
went
I.
for, hoping the sting went for a bit
So am I.
longer, but that's I don't know, Brooksy, what do you reckon?
I think most penis.
Yeah, I reckon you're probably right, mate. Just to be honest, to be honest. What about a Brooksy? I think most penis style jig. Something in
Easy
that,
done.
Brooksy. I reckon.
I think most penis.
All right, time
working
top. Oh, I'm flustered. It is top 6 time, Adam, and this one is about as random as it gets when it comes to our topics for top 6. I think it's fair to say you and I have had all sorts of top 6 subjects over the course of the top 6 journey. Soft drinks, NBA logos. We're not talking about NBA at the moment. Sorry.
No,
Hans.
we're not.
Guilty pleasure songs, fast food chains, fruits, comedic actors, kitchen utensils, chocolate bars, funny racehorse names, Mary Hinge,
Personal favourite.
Allen's lollies, sweet biscuits, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Tonight is very random, and the top 6 for tonight is top 6 random handy items around the place.
You shot me the message, the Savo, to say this is what I'm thinking for top 6. Actually, no, it was yesterday because of technical issues.
Oh, well, let's not bring
And
that
I
up.
straight away I thought, yep, this will be easy. I'm in. And then I sat down to do my 15 seconds of prep,
Fuck, that long.
and I thought, there's a lot of different ways you can go.
Yeah, there is. You could get specifics and say, you could go down the path of utensils. Like I just said, we've already done a top 6 utensils. We're not talking specifically on that. It's kind of more ads we're thinking about when you're sitting around or something pops up and you go, oh, fuck, where is that? Or what?
Well, you don't think you need it till you really need
Don't
it.
think you need it till you really need it. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfectly said. So we've put together a list of 6, Adam, but there's also plenty that didn't make the list. Now, if we quickly just buzz over a few of those honourable mentions, I guess you'd call them. One for me was masking tape. It's just
Yep,
one
good
you
one.
don't know you need it until you need it. Elastic.
Kids always need something stuck to a
Kids
wall.
always, yeah. I think people
Masking
with kids
tape's the
will
go.
appreciate the masking tape one. Elastic bands. You
Yeah, big
sometimes need them, and it's just
Yep.
for random shit, and you've never got them.
Yep.
Rope.
Staples. You've always got a stapler, but you've never got
Staples.
staples.
Yeah. That's really true. You raised a good one, the dish wand.
Yeah, I love the dishy.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not until you don't have one that you go, geez, I could do
Yeah,
with
mate, I'm
one
not
of
pouring detergent into warm water, swishing it around in hand. It's not how it's happening.
them. So there's plenty of there's actually a lot. Tweezers, you also said.
Yeah,
And
tweezers.
that
Yep.
was a good one.
Yep.
I think that's one that you're right. Again, that's kind of the how many times do your kids get a splinter or something and you go, where's
Yeah.
the tweezers? Don't know. You never know
No.
where the tweezers are. Where do the
Never.
tweezers live? No one knows. Like where
No.
should they live? You've got a little first aid bit I suppose, in the kitchen or
No,
I don't know.
The bathroom.
Bathroom? Don't know.
What's the thing that's got the mirror on it, but it's a cupboard? What's that called?
thing that's
Yeah.
good? Oh, the
It
actual
sits above the sink.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's in there somewhere.
In there somewhere.
But I find tweezers are one that the kids always fuck off with. They
Yep.
seem to always need tweezers more than we ever will.
But they don't.
No, they don't. They just think they do.
Yeah, they just think
and
they
they
do.
just disappear.
And then they're gone forever.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to, what do we...
No, I reckon. Listen, I'm going to throw it over to you,
You want me to do this?
because there's a couple on there that you brought to the table in our 15 seconds of prep
Yeah.
that I didn't think of that I absolutely loved. So it would be awesome for you to read them.
Oh, so
and
this
give
is
us
a reward.
Little, just,
This is
just-
a reward
Yeah,
for
just a
me.
little. Yeah, give us a little
thanks,
15
Ad.
seconds on why it's in there because I
Thank
think they're
you.
brilliant.
All right, thank you. All right, so for the top 6 random handy items, number 6, tarp. The old tarpaulin, which is a great word, by the way, also.
Is a great word.
Yeah. Tarps are handy. You could have one in your garage forever and you haven't probably realised how much you've relied on it. Do you know what I mean? You
It's
don't
one of those
realise you've
ones-
used it as much as you have.
Correct. And if you don't have one, you never think of it because you don't think you're missing out.
That's right.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
if you've got a tarp, you'll find a way to use it.
Yeah, you'll cover shit with it. You'll use it as a ground covering while you get mulch delivered. You'll use it to pile bricks on, or you'll use it while you're pulling apart a bike so you don't get grease and shit all over the ground. You'll cover your Barbie with it. Some outdoor furniture. The list goes on and on.
List goes on. It's
trailer?
actually essential.
A trailer,
Yeah,
you'll
trailer.
cover some shit up on a trailer. Yeah,
So it doesn't go flying out the trailer down the highway.
Yep. So good one to start. Good one to start. Number 5, the screwdriver set.
The minis.
Yeah,
minis.
it was a great shout by you, and I think we weren't going to get specific with tools. Oh, it's handy to have a hammer, handy to have. No, nah. This Ads, talk us through this because you nailed it when you were talking through all the things that you realise you need a fucking little screwdriver for.
There's always a kid's toy that's the stupid battery panel's got a fucking screw in it.
Oh, how annoying!
There's always someone's pair of glasses. The arm always falls off because the screws had it.
Yeah,
There's a remote control that needs batteries with a screw down.
yep.
Again, not used 100% of the time, but you are going to come across it in the worst time when something doesn't work and it needs to be fixed quick and you need those tiny little jeweler's screwdrivers and shit.
Because I would almost extend that to the slightly bigger sizes too, because they'll be your best friend when someone buys something that's flat packed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to put
Yeah.
that bad boy together, and it's just like, well, fuck. I'm not using the little shit one that comes in the package.
Yeah, that's,
You know, the little, nah. So screwdriver set's a great one. Yeah. All right. Number 4, baby wipes. Now, you do not, let me preface this by saying, you do not need to have babies or kids to enjoy what baby wipes can do for you.
Are you going scented or unscented?
Oh, look, I'm neither here nor there. It doesn't offend me either way. A bit of a baby wipe scent is quite nice. A scented one. But they just work on so many levels. Now it is something that, you know, when if you happen to have kids and, you know, obviously using them for babies and that, as the kids get older, you go, no, we're keeping them. We're still buying them because Jesus Christ, they clean up a lot.
They stop shitting themselves and they start drawing on shit.
Yeah.
And baby wipes are good for removing a little bit of pencil or crayon off the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're good for an emergency wipe down of a bench.
Yes. And this is where I'm going with the, you don't need to have kids to really utilise baby wipes. It could be something as simple. You just got a bit of, the stubborn sort of stuff that you might get on your hands if you've been out and about doing stuff, or a red wine ring. We've all used a baby wipe to clean up a red wine ring.
It's the moisture factor.
I think so.
Some shit can't be dry wiped. It can't, like if you've got not what you're thinking.
Well,
the
way you said it. I mean, the way you said it.
That's not what you're thinking. No, I'm talking about, you
need a wet wipe. Yeah.
You need a wet wipe. You've been fucking around with some stickers or something and there's a bit of residue on your fingers. You can't dry wipe that. It's not coming off.
Well, that makes it worse. You dry wipe that.
So you need a
more
baby
build
wipe.
up. Yeah. All right, let's move away from number 3. Batteries.
Oh.
And now let's be clear here, Ads. You just have to have a selection of double A's and triple A's.
Yep.
And at all times, because you don't realise you need double A's and triple A's until you do, and it's usually pretty urgent. It's either a kid screaming at you going, I need to put these batteries in me bloody new toy, or the batteries
The
have
remote for the TV
died on the
work.
remote. Yeah.
Yep. Are C and D batteries extinct? Does anything take a C and D battery anymore?
What's this? Remind me what they are. Which ones are they? Is the D
big
the big
fuckers.
the big ones? I don't know. That's a good. Are they like a leather jacket? They don't exist anymore, but no one really told anyone.
Yep.
Wow.
They're like, they might have to go in the extinct pile like leather jacket and Neenish tarts.
Oh, that's a sad day.
Yeah.
If that's fact. Christ.
I can't find. Ever since we did the top 6. Anyway. Keep going. Batteries essential.
Batteries. Number 2. Pen. Just give me a pen. I can't. Why? Because there's none. Well, I bought a pack of 6 of them last week. They're gone. Do you know what I mean? Just have pens lying around, people.
It seems way too obvious, and I didn't think of it when thinking of my random handy items. You are so right. The second you need a pen, they've joined leather jackets. Extinct.
Yeah. Or at a crucial moment, you've written a full page fucking monologue and you just need to write that last line and the ink goes, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
out.
At
So
3
you need
minutes to
another one.
leaving the house, one of the kids drops an excursion notice that needs signed in front of you. And you're like, well, I can't sign it with my fucking finger. Like, where's the pen?
Yeah. Or you're about to leave to go to a kid's birthday party and you go, have you written on his
the
card? And, you go, and the kid goes, no. And you're like, well, quickly grab a pen and do it. 15 minutes later, no pen.
Yeah, they come back with a green pencil that never worked on anything.
Or a
ever.
texter that when they shut the card just fucking blends into the... So just load up on pens. I said last week, Ad, should we do deep drop pens? Because you are famous for fucking losing your pens all the time.
I drop them mid podcast
Christ.
every time as well. Pens is a cracker.
Every argument that should have been number 1. But however, number 1 I think is the most randomly handy item so often throughout your life at home. Number 1, extension leads and power boards. Yeah.
Another unanimous number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have bundled 2 into 1, but it's kind of one. Like it's How often?
Mate.
Fuck, I need a power board.
You do a bit of a rearrange.
Yep.
And you got to plug some shit in.
Yep.
And there's not a PowerPoint to be fucking seen.
Somehow the 3 PowerPoints you thought you had on your walls don't exist anymore. And you go, well, what the fuck happened to them? They were never there. You were running power boards, and now those power boards are gone. Where are they? Don't know.
Or how many homes are built with the one PowerPoint that sits dead center behind the fucking bed? The most useless place to put now modern homes. No, we've worked that shit out. We've evolved. We need to
evolved.
charge phones and watches and whatever.
It's so
that's
funny
okay.
because it's now part of a building plan. And even the builders will say to you, hey, make sure you just pop them there, out there, because your bed will go somewhere here probably, or if not, doesn't matter. Back in the day, let's talk homes built in the 80s. What was the conversation?
Mate.
Johnny, where should we put the PowerPoint? I just whack it dead centre, mate. What if it's in the way of something? It won't be, will it?
Doesn't matter.
What would go there? I don't know, a fucking couch?
Yep. Because I have one of these homes. My home would be nearly 40 years old. And,
Zero thought.
mate, it sits right in the middle of the fucking bed. You're like, well, what am I going to do with this? No charger, no power thing lead makes it that far anyway.
Yeah.
And I've got two power points for, a charger, a watch charger, a bedside lamp.
And a massive shout out in those cases to the power boards with the sort of flush against the wall type plugs, so they don't stick out.
Shouldn't be made any other way.
Shouldn't be made any other way, should they?
There's no reason.
Nah. So Matt, they're crucial. If you give me a power board that sticks directly out from the wall, well then your bed sticks fucking 4 inches out from the wall, and
that's not on.
That
feels weird.
I reckon extension leads and power boards are the most randomly handy items that you could possibly
ever
come
created.
I mean, pen's not far behind, but it's a clear number one. Let us know what you think. That is our top 6 random handy items for this week: extension leads, power boards, pen, batteries, baby wipes, screwdriver set, and tarps. I mean, if you've got those 6 things, you will live a happier life. Is what
You're
I'm
ahead
saying.
of the game.
Yeah,
You're ahead of the game.
you'll be less stressed. You'll just be able to get on with it. And that's the key. Just get on with it. I can't.
get on
Why?
with it.
Because I
Get
don't
it
have
done.
fucking batteries or don't have a pen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've gone deep into some stuff today, ads. And Monthly Resos is great. I'm nervous but excited.
Like it.
The jigging convo got real deep. Pardon the pun. I didn't mean that. And then... No, I know. And then top 6. So let us know on any of that. We want some input. We want some heavy input onto the Monthly Reso. Heaps of feedback on the metal jig thing. Because
high-speed jiggers, reach out because I think you're extinct.
Yeah. Are you high-speed jigging? Where, when, why? And
why?
I'm on board. Because if you are, hats off to you. But I need to know why and how and where. And the development conversation will continue. That doesn't end tonight. That's just I've just stoked a fire in you, Adam. I can see it in your eyes. So let's put some.
I proper got excited as soon as you said. I'm like, how has this not been done? We need thinking caps on.
No, good, and I think we'll revisit this really soon. But for now, that is it, and we'll speak to you again real soon. Thanks, ads.
Peace.